Welcome to Lashback, everyone. I'm Natalyan.
And I'm Phoebe. And today we're talking about the Tube,
The
the
London.
London Underground.
Yeah.
Tell us
So,
some facts.
yeah. So I think they're interesting facts. It's a good segue into our stories, I think, because if you're from London, you'll have many stories. If you're not, you may have visited, but we want to hear. But facts and myths about the public transport in London. So I'm specifically focusing on the Tube here. The London Underground is the oldest underground railway network in the world, by the way, built in 1863.
Sometimes it feels like that as well.
Yes, yes, and it is known as the Tube or the Tube. Some people have said. I said it's not the Tube, it's the Tube,
Tube.
and has 11 lines spanning over 250 miles. Is that correct? We need to check that. I feel like that might be old. 55% of the London Underground is not actually underground, by the way. And it is, and this is true, it is an indispensable part of London life and hides a treasure trove of fascinating stories and quirky facts. And I can attest to the fact that it has many stories just related to me.
And when it's not working, I mean, it's London
The world
becomes
ends.
a
Well, not the world.
pain.
You know.
London
Yeah.
becomes a pain. There was a day in November, actually, I had to get to the South Bank, which is the South Bank of the Thames, from where I live in North London. It's normally about 40 minutes. Tube changing, and it rained so much that the Northern Line was, flooded at one end, and so like really difficult. And it took me an hour and a half just to get to King's Cross.
What? Is that even? But
Normally 20 minutes,
you should have just
and
walked.
everything was packed, and all the platforms were packed, and everybody was chatting, and it was like London literally comes to a standstill. And
It
on
does.
that on the 7th of July in 2007, when there was the bombings on the Tube, and it was all shut down, the camaraderie of people walking home was quite a thing. Good thing it was summer. If it had not been summer, I think we would have been more
Yeah.
complaining as a British people.
Yeah, it always makes me laugh when you're running down. Well, you're going to the platform. I'm not running ever. But
You shouldn't run. Don't run, I say.
no, but you get there and someone's like, been running, trying, nearly killing you on the way to get to this train. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, 2 minutes, mate. It's only 2 minutes, 120 seconds, darling. Like,
I know
it's
when
only.
you're outside of London and you get to a train platform and it's like 20 minutes. I'm like,
Oh,
what? Are
yeah, no,
you guys? I'm a Londoner. I don't
yeah.
want to wait longer than 4 minutes.
Or I always used to feel when I used to get the London Liverpool Street train back from Blues Kitchen when we sung in Blues Kitchen every Sunday
Yeah.
night, and there'd be people, especially at rush hour, but that wasn't rush hour. But the train's at 1:35 and it's 1:28, and people are running like their life depends on it. And I'm like, you have 7 minutes. I could change the world in 7 minutes. Stop
Yeah.
running. Stop running. Relax, people. Just relax. You're going to be
like when-
fine. People want to get on their carriage, don't they? Their carriage and their seat and.
It's like when you're busy tube and there's loads of people on the tube and there's loads of people on the platform, and the minute the doors open, everyone tries to pile in. And I have stood
off.
there before and I've gone, so you want me to push you? Like literally, like let us off first, because
Yeah.
that makes sense for there being room for you to get on. But people just like, doors open, time to pile in. There's a real impatience in London. Which
No, there is, and I am actually known for doing that, and I know that you are. You've just admitted it, but I knew
I'm
that
really
anyway.
good. I'm really good at like getting around the side, so I'm not actually in the way, but I do manage to get onto the carriage first. The experienced
Yeah,
Londoners know how to
yeah,
sidestep. I call it the London two-step. The
yeah.
yeah.
But people do need to especially when there's tourists and that, and they don't get the whole, you know, stand on the correct side of the escalator, and
Punishable by.
stand on the right, mate. Stand on the right. When I've had people, visit me in London from different countries, I'm like, no, 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 no. Stand on the right. You're going to be killed. You're going to be killed.
Yeah.
And you have to I have stood there at the carriage door and and I said, guys, let us off first, please. And they're like, but I have
Hey,
become
please,
better.
that's very nice of you.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I didn't used
Yeah.
to be that nice. I didn't used to be that nice, but I've decided that I'm only going to attract, horrible people if I do that. So I have become better in that. But in terms of let's talk. I want to make sure that we cover annoying things about the tube, but I also want to cover the beauty of it. And I miss that when I'm not in London, that independence of walking around, like going gig to gig to gig. Then I'll go and meet Phoebe. Then I'll go and meet Shaq. Then I'll go and meet this person all in a night. I'll pop to different places and see people hop on the tube, hop off the tube, go to a gig, get home last thing at night. And I love it. I love it. It's so powerful, the tube. And our tube, in comparison to say like the New York subway, for example, is like VIP, right? We have such a great system, and I feel safe on that system. I've only had a couple of bad experiences. Generally, like I just feel so safe, and it's such a fantastic thing.
They do really work on safety. I mean, most stations are manned, and they've got a lot of posters at the moment that explain what harassment is and how to tackle it, which I think is a really cool campaign to have. Like, look, I won't go into it because I don't want to put those words onto YouTube, but like, it's really good to see those things there. I have seen some shocking behaviour on the tube. I've also seen some unfortunate behaviour. Like the time a group of girls were very, very drunkenly on the last tube home, one of them threw up. And I felt very sorry for the person who works for London Underground that would be cleaning that up.
Yeah,
But also like the times when, there's a sing-along that starts, or
I
somebody
love it.
clapping, or, everyone's on the tube runs overnight now as well on some nights, which is kind of cool. Never used to be like
Love
that
it.
when I was
It's like
young.
the night bus back in the day that I'm just not built for anymore. But the night bus, that last night bus, there's not a sober person on it, and you'll be coming
Yeah.
back from a club or whatever. I'd meet the best people. They were my best friends for that whole journey, and we'd be
Yeah.
singing and that. And it's very rare over my whole lifespan that I've had a bad experience like that, actually. So we've got to wave the flag for positivity on the London network, because the London network across the board in terms of the transport network is just second to none.
Although it's a bit weird because it doesn't matter where you're going in London or where you're coming from, always takes an hour. I can be going, like, I think London from sort of where I live down to sort of the same sort of comparable bit in South London, about 11 miles. I think, don't quote me, maybe it's like 11, 15 miles. It's not a lot. If you're on a country road driving at 60 mile an hour, you do
Yeah.
real quick. But in London, to drive from the north down to the south take you about 2 or 3 hours because it's stop start and through
What you mean in the car?
in
You
the
mean in the
car.
car?
And then, of course, the network is all underground in the centre of town, and then it kind of comes out when we've outside when it gets to the peripheries. But no matter where you go, it takes an hour.
Yeah,
Always takes an hour. 40 minutes if you're lucky. It's really interesting.
Well, in a past life of mine, I did actually work with Transport for London on stuff, and one of the key campaigns they had was making people aware of the underground map and the geographical relevance, because it's not geographically correct. So if you've
Yeah.
got on the map that's there and this is all the way here, it actually might be
5 minute walk.
across the street or across the street, like Covent Garden and Embankment is a 2 minute walk. It's a cute, beautiful walk as well. But people would go from the Northern Line to the Piccadilly line, and coming out of Covent Garden's a nightmare when you just walk across. So they did these walking campaigns because, again, they tried to, if you look at the history of the London Tube map, they tried to do it geographically, but things are on top of each other and it didn't work. So it's not geographical. It took me my whole life to know that. I thought it was a map. It's not a map.
No, it's a graphic design.
Correct. Yeah. So you should get out and walk, and you should really kind of, what I say to people in London, because I've had some friends from America and Australia that have visited, I've said, stay around here. Yes, get the tube if you're going to one end to the other, but walk. Just walk.
Londoners walk. We do. And that's, where
quicker.
parking and roads are smaller, what have you. It is actually makes sense. You walk 10 minutes to a tube, 10, 15 minutes to a tube station is fine. Whereas people that don't live in London might be like, walk for 15 minutes? Yeah, but I'm
That's
walking
true.
to the tube.
Culturally.
I'm just literally going to walk to the tube. And it's like London also being like one massive assault course, because you're either going down the stairs to thing, or you're coming up the escalator, and then you come out, you walk, and then you're going up the stairs to the upstairs room of the pub or the venue or the theatre or whatever it is. So you're always up and down stairs.
Well, it's like your house, right? I won't divulge your address. But your house going to the train station was quicker because it's down. And then I'd always be exhausted. It'd be like late or whatever. And I'd be like coming out of the train station to go back to yours. And I'm like, I hope there's a bus. And if there's a bus, I'm straight on it for like 2 stops. It's literally 2 seconds. But I'd always get on that.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I quite like the trains as well. South London is better for trains.
Yeah.
London's more tubey, but there are some good overground.
It's a fantastic network. I mean, the Overground line, which has been renamed things from the area I'm from, which is weird to me.
They have. We've got the Suffragette line and the Windrush line.
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet.
Took me a while.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a, I don't know, I don't think I can even talk about it.
It is useful though, because now you're like, rather than figuring out, you have to know the destination of the train to know where it goes. You're like, oh, it's that line, and it all.
That's the bit that's confusing, which I've explained to tourists actually, is like certain, like Victoria line, you can't go wrong. End to end, best line on the planet, love it, boom. You're always, it just seems quicker for these 20 odd, 30 odd stops, just boom, and you sit on it. And I always put a podcast in or a song I'm rehearsing or whatever that may be. But some of the other ones, you've got to know you're on the right branch. That's where people get confused. You'd be on the wrong branch. And I have listed some annoyances here, and there is one here, if I can very quickly find it, about, what is it? When you've got on the wrong line.
Oh, the Bank versus Charing Cross on the north.
Yeah, that's like a known Londoner thing. Or saying here, long walk platforms between stations to the outside world at King's Cross. They deliberately take you the long way round to avoid crowding. But I've learned little tricks. So I'm like, I'm going to go that way. And it's like, don't go that way. I'm going that way.
Yeah,
and
you do have to get to know a station.
Literally 10 minutes quicker.
And a lot of the central London ones, like Oxford Circus and Piccadilly and ones like that, they're actual roundabouts. So they'll send you left off the tube to that station, then you'll end up going around to get to the same place. If you just ignore and you go right, then you'll be going around the other way. But then you will be that annoying person that's being bumped into by all the people doing the London tube step.
But it's sometimes a necessary, or you might go an extra stop. These are the skills. We could do a whole podcast on London Underground, right? You go an extra stop to avoid that because you know the platform's opposite. Or you know the platform's opposite. Like if I'm going from going to Heathrow and I've got a suitcase as well, I know I go a certain way, so I just roll my case across without having stairs. Because there are a lot of older stations that aren't disability friendly, aren't accessible, which I always feel so bad for people.
Yeah, you know it when you've got a wheelie suitcase, don't you? What it's like.
Can you imagine living like that though? That's But annoying. I know we've been talking for a while here because this is something that's close to our hearts. But give me some things that annoying or funny should probably be a more positive word about that or experiences you've had, Phoebe, and I'll reciprocate.
Whenever I'm in Camden, I'm going to Camden, I'm probably gigging, I've probably got my guitar, I'm probably late. And then the way the tourists wait at the bottom of the escalators in order to figure out the signs, they're always in my way. And then onto the escalators and it's Baltic. I don't know, there's something about that tube station which is just windy. And I'm like, my hair's ruined and, So the non-Londoners who like to take their time and need to take a long time and I'm not having a go at them, they need to take a long time to take in the signs. They are just in the way. But that's because the tube is so old. It wasn't, I don't think they ever expected that many people to be in those tunnels.
That's so true. And it is a way of thinking. Like when I lived in Australia for, 6-7 years or something, there was the beginning period when I moved there. I didn't come back for 2 years. I've never done that before, and I don't do that now. I'm back every few months. But I must say that when I came back, I had a bit of a, because you don't realise how much you just, it's just culturally in you, and you just know it, and it seems so simple to you. And for a few weeks, it took me a little while, and a little bit of anxiety, I think, as well, like at the middle station in peak rush hour, But I think that the key annoyances for me here is smelly foods. One,
God, and the heat
makes me want to vomit. Don't. I get it.
A fish sandwich on the tube, please, sir. And please, can you not spread your legs so wide?
Yeah, the man spread, your thingamajiggies are not that big, mate.
Well, unless they're unwell.
Yeah, all right, let's not do that.
There is, I do get quite good at, like, when I'm getting onto a carriage, like spotting the wide-shouldered people and avoiding them. Because then you're like that.
Well,
They're all
listen to this
wide-shouldered.
one.
There's nothing they can do about it.
Listen to this one because this is a little bit us actually. There's two annoyances. I just googled these. People who don't walk down the carriage when it's crowded, so they'll just get on and wait there, and there's this big gap in the middle, and we need that room. And then the annoyance after that is the people who shout at those people.
Yeah, oh, that's me.
That's us.
Can you
That's
move
us.
down the carriage, please?
Yeah, I'm like, move down. Oh, there's like school trips, children's school trips. I've done that, and I love children. Don't get me wrong, but you get on, you're like, nope.
Next carriage. I always, you get to know a journey, don't you, as well, about which carriage to get on, so that when
Oh
you get
yeah,
to your stop, you're right by the exit.
yeah. I mean, this is a real skill. We could write a whole book. We should write a book about
There
this. I
used to
think.
be an app. There
Yeah,
used to be an app for it, and now I think City
really.
Mapper does it. Yeah, so it tells you but which is the
I
best
didn't know
carriage
that.
to get on.
You've just stolen my idea of becoming a billionaire. Um,
Sorry.
it's already been done. Oh, here's the one. Getting halfway down the Northern Line and realising you're on the wrong branch, halfway to Leicester Square when you're trying to get to Bank.
I do that all the time. You know, I always used to work on the Bank branch of Northern Line, and I've been doing this work recently where I'm at Tottenham Court Road, and I'll get to Euston and realise I'm on the branch. I've got on like morning, automatic pilot. I've gotten on
Yeah,
that plane. I've got good, the Bank one, got on. And it's not until I've gotten to Euston where, you know, at Camden it's easy to change. At
yeah.
Euston, I'm like, oh,
Nightmare.
get out the tube station and walk because it's not actually that far to the office from there, and it would probably take longer to get onto the other branch of the Northern Line at Euston.
Is Northern
And like,
Line your
you know,
least
Bank
favourite
Station
line?
as well. They
Yeah,
say that the Northern Line is at Bank Station, but they're lying. They're
it's not.
lying, I tell you.
It's not.
What it is down the tunnel, and then you're at Moorgate Station. They make you walk underneath.
Yeah,
It's
there
a
is some
different
lying.
station.
There is some lying there, and I definitively remember the first time I walked that. It's a humongous tunnel, listeners,
Yeah.
and it says that you're getting off at Bank, and you're not. You're nowhere near Bank. It doesn't exist there. It exists over here, and you're going to Moorgate. And I don't know why they just create this lie. It's like complete lack of expectation management and I remember doing that, and I was really late, and I was in this tunnel all on my own for some reason. It was probably late, you know. And I remember that, and I don't think I've done it since. I'm like, oh, I'm not falling for that one again.
I'm not changing from the Piccadilly to the Victoria at Green Park. That's a bloody marathon. I may as well just walk from here.
Oh, here's one exactly. Here's one. The men who glare at you when you dare to apply makeup on the tube. I've actually seen people post. I've deleted a guy on Facebook. I can't remember his name for saying, "Why do women have to do that?" Well, I've had my shower. I've walked out the door, and I've got to put some makeup on because you want makeup on my face as well. Um,
And
I used to always
it's
do
good
that.
time. I don't wear makeup in the day, so I don't have that. But I do wonder, like when people eat on the tube as well, it's pretty filthy. And I'm like, I try
I
not to
don't
eat
touch
or
anything.
touch anything.
I don't
But then
touch
there's
anything.
the people these days, you know, modern day, you know, there they are. They've got their phone with no earphones, listening to something.
Oh yeah, don't. I think we can do a whole episode on that. I just think it's the most selfish, lack of self-awareness thing
Like,
you
you
could
don't
ever
need to
do.
do that.
I was
Well,
travelling
I
from
wear
London.
earplugs these days. I can't deal with the screech because you've got the
Yeah.
screech of the wheels on the rails in a tunnel, and some of that is just too much. I have to actually put earphones in because
Well,
it hurts.
there's been I can't quote the source, but I'm
Those.
pretty sure that they've done like deafening tests on the tube, and I can't remember what line it is. It the Northern Line? There's certain lines that are really loud to the point where my ears are hurting,
Yeah,
and
louder than reality.
it's damaging your ears. You have to be really careful about that. That's
Yeah,
that's
I do it all
definitely
the
a
time.
definitely a fact. Definitely a
I've
fact.
got a fact. You know, the Piccadilly line, when you get west and it starts to like really wiggle and it gets really screechy. So like in between
Yep.
like South Ken and Knightsbridge, you can actually see if you look down the carriage, you can actually see the
You
carriages
can
are
see it
really
doing
like
that.
this. Do you know
Yeah.
why?
Why?
Because when they were digging the tunnels for the London Underground, they couldn't go through the graveyards, the mass graveyards
Ah.
from the Black Death. So it wiggles like that because it's going around all of these mass graveyards from
How did you know that? Where did you find that?
Somebody told me, I think maybe the Transport Museum in London or something. And, whenever it screeches, of course really, it screeches because
It's going round.
the rails are like that. But I'm like, it's the graves of the people that died of the plague in London in 15 or whatever it was.
Oh my, I did not know that. That's so interesting, Phoebe. If any listeners, I know we've been talking for a while here. I knew this was going to be a long one, but it is what it is. We love it. We're going to do another one because there's loads of things
Thank
I
you,
want to
London Underground.
But thank you, London Underground. I love it. I miss it. I'm back there soon. I'll let you know when, Phoebe. And I'm very excited about jumping back on my underground because I feel so. I think it's a really good way to become, an adult. If you know what I mean. Like you fly around with your friends when you're growing up and you kind of become independent. And I'm really grateful for the London Underground. It was a genius plan. And I'm glad it was there when we were, born.
Although the one in Hong Kong is way nicer.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Newer,
I think
nicer,
Asia
bigger, cleaner.
Yeah, I think Asia's going to beat its hands down. But, I just can't. I can't imagine London. London, I'll leave everyone with this thought. Let us know your experiences, your thoughts on London Underground, your annoyances, any funny stories, any interesting facts. But I'll leave with the fact that, can you imagine London without the London Underground? No.
No.
I don't know how it'd work. I just don't. It would be a completely different city, different way of life, different economy, you name it. It would be.
I'd have to pay for the gym rather than walking up the steps of Covent Garden.
Well, at least you walk those steps. Do you actually walk those steps?
No, I don't.
Okay, I was gonna
Lift like a sensible person.
Yeah, because I think there's a comment here, or sorry, a thought here from my Googling about thinking I'm going to do those stairs today, and then realising halfway that it's not a good idea. So for anyone that doesn't know, Covent Garden has a lift.
196 steps.
Yeah, 196 steps. So good luck. Good luck with that one. Okay, we'll wrap it up then here. So please let us know your thoughts, guys, and we will see you next week.
See you next week. Take it easy.
See you later.